What's up, Dragon Brood? We are getting ever closer to the release of Kaldheim, and I'm still not done with Decklist. We have so much more to go, but today we're going to be talking about the one I think a lot of people wanted to see, and that's Angels. And let me say this about the Angels list. I spent some time the last couple of days talking with other content creators, a couple other deck builders, exchanging some DMs with people. And sadly, I think the consensus is if you go really heavy on the Angels, the deck isn't as good as people want it to be. Which is kind of sad because I think at the beginning of the preview season for Kaldheim, a lot of us looked at the Angels and went, oh sweet, there might actually be an Angel tribal thing and that's pretty awesome. The thing is, there's really not a good low end and you kind of need some filler cards to help you get there, and so many of the Angels cost so much mana and it just had different issues. So you kind of have to figure out which way you want to go, whether you want it to be like a mid-rangey deck that just plays a bunch of Angels, or if you want it to be a cleric-based deck, since a bunch of the Angels are Angels and clerics. Do you want to go that route? Like, there's some other options, but just being a straight-up Angel deck is very difficult. But we're going to get into that here in just a second. But if you haven't, please remember to like this video so more people get to see it. Hit the subscribe button to help me out in building my audience, and then hit that notification bell so you get notified every single time we're putting up these decks, because we still have several more to go and we're running out of time before Kaldheim releases, but there's going to be more. But for now, let's go talk about this, I guess, Orzhov Cleric Angels deck. Okay, so like I said, there's Angels, but mostly at the top end. The early stages, you're just kind of setting up, so that's where a lot of our filler spells are. So we're playing Speaker of the Heavens because it does still have that same stipulation that if you're at 27 life, you can make 4/4 Angel, and then there's just a bunch of bonus energy that comes with that. It's not a bad creature early anyway. Your opponent is often going to want to try to kill it, which isn't necessarily bad because it opens up the door for your other cards. So I'm kind of okay with that. Then we're playing a full set of Bloodchief's Thirst because we have to have some removal cards. That's not really an option. We gotta have something else there, and this is the card of choice for this list. Then Youthful Valkyrie, which actually in and of itself isn't great. It's a 1/3 flyer for 2, but it is only 2 mana. It's only 1 colored mana, so that's really nice. Whenever another Angel comes into play, you get a +1/+1, which after turn 2, we do start looking at a bunch of Angels, so then it's possible that this could be a 2, 3, 4 power fairly easy. Granted, it is only 2 mana, so it is susceptible to things like Bloodchief's Thirst, so you got to keep that in mind while you're playing. Then we're playing Cleric of Life's Bond. This is one of the better creatures in the Clerics list already, and it fits here as well. Like I said in the opener, we have several Angels that are also Clerics, so you'll get that bonus. But also anytime you're gaining life, you're going to get to add a counter. So even if you don't draw a Cleric, if you find some way to gain life, which we have several of in this deck, you're still going to be able to grow this every turn. And there's going to be some games you're going to win anyway because you just turn 1 Speaker, turn 2 Cleric of Life Spawn, turn 3 Cleric of Life Spawn, and then that's it. Right? I've had that happen multiple times in previous versions, so it's not a bad card just to have around. Then we're looking at Righteous Valkyrie, and I think this is the one that kind of gets everybody hyped to want to build an Angel deck around, right? Every time an Angel comes in, you gain life, or Angel or Cleric, sorry about that, gain life equal to its toughness, and then once you have 7 life more than your starting total, which is 27, all your creatures get +2/+2, which is actually reasonably possible to do with this list. And if you have 2, they double count, so it's just all around quality. And I think this is the part of the deck. If you put these first few cards together, I think that's where you're looking at saying, okay, this is the core of a deck that can do some things. It's what comes after that we start, I think the decks start diverging. Well, here we're playing 3 Resplendent Marshal. And I know people look and say, like, is that really the card you want here? But you know what? It's a good filler at the 3 mana slot. It's a 3/3 flyer. It's an Angel, so it's going to count with all your Angel stuff. Its ability is actually relevant. Like, let's say they kill your Speaker of the Heavens early. It's like, well, okay, well, now I can remove that, and I could pump the Clerics on the table. And if you played like a turn 1 Speaker, turn 2 Cleric of Life Spawn, turn 3 Righteous Valkyrie, well, now you've played in a Resplendent Marshal, gained 3 life because of the Valkyrie. Then you removed the Speaker of the Heavens from the yard, got to put a +1/+1 on everything. So now you actually have a formidable board, even though you lost your turn 1 creature, which actually isn't too bad. So I'm a big fan. And you will have grown your Cleric of Life Spawn a couple of times by then. So yeah, all around, good spot in here. Playing 1 copy of Legion Angel, The other 3 copies are on the sideboard. That's the only sideboard card I have for this. I did not build sideboards for any of these decks yet, because part of that is just figuring out what the metagame is going to look like. But this does give you access to more creatures, so if you just need more angels to cast, you can go get them. Then we're playing 3 Furja's Retribution. It was arguable that this probably should have been 4, but the truth is, it's 4 mana, it's 3 colored mana, you have to have specifically 2 white. You may or may not have the right creatures with it to really take big advantage of it, but it's not bad. I mean, it does make a 4/4 all of its own, which has benefits with your other cards, obviously. And, you know, if you do get to chapter 2, you get to pick off a lot of your opponent's stuff. So nothing to be complaining about there. And then angels you control gain double strike. So if you do get to the 3rd chapter and you have even like 3 angels out, that's probably just going to end the game. So good card. And like I said, maybe this should be 4 copies. I could easily be talked into that. Then up here, we've got 3 copies of Vengeful Reaper. And this is kind of like one of the weaker cards in the list, but it does have haste, it does have death touch. And those are relevant because it allows you to kind of use it as a deterrent for your opponent or as a kill card, possibly in the right combat scenarios. Having haste is also important because if you have something where you're already giving your creatures bonuses, this could be a 4 or 5 power thing going after your opponent with haste, which is nice. It's one of the few cards that also has Foretell in the list, so you can actually kind of decide what you want to play it for, when you want to play it for. Maybe if you just want to set it up post Sweeper or post Ugin or who knows what, right? There's a thing you can do cheap on the later turns, so I do like that. Then we're playing 3 Eradicator Valkyrie. Oh, excuse me, which I'm kind of curious how important the hexproof from Planeswalkers is going to be, right? There's only a couple of cards in Magic we have those words on, so I'm very curious on if this is going to stand out or not. But it does have Boast, let you sacrifice a thing to make your opponent sacrifice a thing. So that's not bad, but is it where we want to be? I don't know, but it is lifelink, which is nice, which helps with the life gain portion of the deck. It does fly. The hexproof may or may not matter. I'm sure there's going to be some non-zero times where your opponent's going to have like an Ashiok or a Garruk and not be able to kill it, and that's nice. But yeah, we're just going to see if this really works. Of all the cards in the deck, Eradicator Valkyrie currently is probably the one that I would be most likely to replace. Then we're playing 2 Baneslayer Angel, because it's a Baneslayer Angel. I mean, like, no other reason. It's flying, it's first strike, it's lifelink, and it has protection from demons and dragons, which people probably will be playing some of the new dragons, or old dragons in the case of like Terror of the Peaks. So totally a reasonable card to have here. I'm on board with it. And then we have a couple of copies of Ameria's Call. Now, Ameria's Call does make 2 angels late in the game. Remember, it does make only non-angel creatures indestructible when you cast it. So a decent number of creatures will probably not have indestructible, but you'll get 2 creatures late in the game if you need them. Lands, we're not doing too much too tricky here. We're playing a full set of the Bright Climb Pathways. We're playing a full set of Temple of Silence. Playing 1 great Hall of Starnheim, which lets you pay 3, sacrifice it, and a creature, create a 4/4 angel. It's not great, but again, late in the game, if you draw, say, like one of your clerics that isn't going to do much there, it's like, okay, cool, well, let me get rid of this cleric, turn it into a 4/4, and now I have an evasive creature that I can try to win with the next turn, right? So we're just experimenting with how it works out. But the land does come into play tap, so that is a concern, but you have 5 come into play tapped lands. And then we have a bunch of plains and swamps, nothing too special there. And like I was saying previously, the issue really is that you can't really go whole hog, as they say, on angels and build the angel deck. Maybe there is a version that utilizes the big angels in the set, but I ended up cutting a lot of them because otherwise you just felt like you didn't do enough in the early game, or it was too easy to stumble having a bunch of 4, 5, 6 mana things in hand. So this was like the best place I could get to that still feels like an angel deck and still lets you benefit from having all the angels, but gives you a little bit of versatility in the earlier stages, which is really nice. Remember, if you haven't, please like this video to help me get seen by more people, because I'm trying really hard to get you a lot of content. I really am. And then hit the subscribe button to show your appreciation for the content. And then hit the notification bell, because that's for you. Let you know every single time I've got one of these videos coming out. And there's still going to be, I think, like 6 more in the next couple days. So we're going to have over 20 decks that people can find, use, know what to do with their early resources, wildcards in Arena once, or even just paper, what cards you want to buy as the set releases. So thank you for watching. That's all I have for you for now. We will see you next time.